So this is Mama Phil right here. You know, I know your sons. I know two of your sons at least. I don't know KT. I haven't met him yet.
KT arts degree.
Yes, powerful, powerful. And I've seen you do interviews with your family, and you know, I've always wanted to meet you. So my audience is my channel is called M9NDtv. You mind just introducing yourself, let them know who you are a little bit real quick.
Okay. As you address me, I'm known as Mama Pill, and my other name that people know me is Annette Thomas, and I'm a native of New York City, Harlem.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And most people know me because of the work I've been doing. I'd say for about I would say ever since I've been Mama Pill to Pill and Blue Pill, which has been 40 years old. So my work as a mother has, how would I say, has translated over to nurturing other people. You know?
So you're a nutritionist, you're a health practitioner.
In America they call what I do I'm an herbalist.
Herbalist.
I do herbalism in the tradition of my grandmothers, great grandmothers, and who are from the Caribbean.
Where?
St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John.
Virgin Islands.
Virgin Islands, yeah, U.S. Virgin Islands. And my mother's mother was born in Antigua. So in those islands, centuries ago, they called the women or the people who work with herbs to help people heal. They call them bush
doctors.
Bush doctors, yeah.
Yes, I'm from Jamaica. I was born in the Caribbean, so I know what you're talking about.
And the tonics were called herbal tonics. They were called
roots.
bush.
And we call them roots too.
Bush and right.
But we had a couple roots men in Jamaica that used to make the roots.
Yeah.
You know, clean you out.
Yeah.
You know.
So what that is that's tradition.
So that's what you learn. You learn from it's passed down.
Yeah. Wow. So you learn how our people learn and how our people carry on tradition, because tradition is what we do to sustain our life in a good way. You see, and we learn those ways from people who've already lived, so they know.
And what are some of the things that you've been able to treat over the course of your time practicing, you know, or sharing what you do with the people?
Well, what we know as herbalists and what we know as bush women and men is that what they call sickness or illness or disease is something that's just temporary. It's not a permanent thing. It doesn't have to be a permanent thing. So our ancestors didn't use that kind of language when something would happen that threw us out of balance. They would just address it. So they would either do it on a mental level, what they call a spiritual level, or a physical level, because generally it's either all three of those things are out of balance, or there's some type of deficiency there.
So mind, spirit, and body.
Right. As English calls it, you know. So yeah. So I've had people come with all kinds of diseases. So I would say the number one that people have been led to believe that is not curable but is curable is AIDS. Because at that time I was working with my mentor teacher. He's known as Dr. Safi. And so we together were successful with healing, helping someone cure themselves of that disease back in 1986. So if you can help somebody cure AIDS, then all the other stuff is not so hard, because that's supposed to be that's like the worst thing that somebody could get, and that we've been taught by the Western mindset or the allopathic physician that's not curable.
If you had to tell or just advise someone, or encourage, I don't want to say advise, encourage someone how to keep themselves, like, you know, away from those conditions that we call diseases. What are some of the things they can do now? What are some of the things you would encourage them to do?
First thing I usually I recommend people do, even if they don't come see me, is I recommend people drink water. Would you be surprised how many people don't drink water? And that's about maybe 80% of the problem because they've never replenished the 75% water that is the body is composed of. You know, so if you figure somebody is 30 years old and they've never drank water, so they still have that water that, you know,
from what they were born.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been recycled out.
And that water hasn't been replenished, and everything they drink is like a sugar substance. So you can imagine what condition their body water is in. And I tell people, if you don't get it, you know, look at the oceans and not the oceans, but the lakes and streams. When they get polluted, we see what happens, right? The life forms die, the fish, you know, because there's no room for oxygen anymore because there's all that sludge and bacteria.
So what about like coconut water? Is that a different kind of water?
That's a good one. That's a good water.
And is the pipe water any good, or should we stay away from that? Should we boil our water? Should we go for alkaline water?
I had an interview earlier today, and these young ladies were they were a group of young ladies talking about female issues, and they asked me that same thing about the water. So we know that spring water is moving water, it's live water, so that's the best. But if you're not living near a spring where you could, you know, get spring water, then the next best thing would be spring water that you could get, you know, that's been that they sell maybe in glass as opposed to plastic, or steam distilled water that you would mineralize by squeezing some wild lime juice or some, you know, like something green in to mineralize it.
I heard someone say this, I don't know what you think of it. They said that the fruit, that if you eat fruit, the water in the fruit is actually filtered and you can just eat fruit and not drink water.
Well, that's true too. That's true too. I mean, you know, you could, but that usually works when you're in the environment that God created and you never moved out of that environment. But most people today, because they were born in cities, they're, you know, they're very body's very
toxic.
Deficient. It's very deficient.
Okay, deficient, not toxic. Okay.
Well, deficient. Well, because see there's the reason why people are toxic. So you have to talk about what is the cause of that toxicity. You see what I'm saying? And that's basically deficiency. Because if you're deficient in those minerals and nutrients that the body needs in order to regenerate itself and create energy and fuel and increase that life force energy, the potency of it, so that everything is working, what they call that homeostasis, everything is working in harmony and balance, then you're going to be getting the opposite of that, you see? Because the body is not getting those things it needs in order to work properly. And that working order, that working intelligence is something our God created. It's like we're born with that intelligence of the body knowing what to do and doing it on its own. Like we're all here, standing here, talking now, and we're not making ourselves breathe. That's happening because of an intelligence, you see? So
how can people find you? Where can people find information about you? Do you have a website or Facebook page, anything like that?
Well, I am on Facebook under the name Annette Thomas, and I also have a Facebook page for my business, which is Greenleaf Herbal Solutions, and my phone number is 424-200-5469, and our website is greenleaf-herbs.com.
Thank you so much, my sister.